These two come. These two come. This time, calmly plays it along the ground to the sweep along. And it'll bring Jones on strike on his 30th birthday. USA Vice Captain. Played a starring role for the St. Lucia Kings in the CPL Final, scoring 48 not out down in Guyana to win the CPL title. Comes into this match having made just 3, a very painstaking 3, before running himself out. And Dipender Singh Irie was involved in that. Jones this time gets off the mark immediately. 1 out to recover sweeper. Rajan Dako collects.
Yeah, Peter, he's an exceptional cricketer. This is why he's here, though. You look at Mukamala, he's just looking to muscle it. Irie's gone a little bit flatter, a little bit quicker through the air. He's connected well enough. It's just that Fisher Bertel's in the right place at the right time. Look at the big fist bump as well. Comes out from his countryman just to his right. Again, big moment in the game because Mukamala was really starting to tread on a power hitting direction.
Slower ball. And Gulshanja can't believe it. Difficult chance, but it came straight to him. He's put it down.
It's a chance, and Andres Kels doesn't give you many. You got to take them when they come. Never easy. As a fast bowler, you're falling away to your left. The ball's been struck back to his right. He's stuck out a hand, but he's got a lot of his mitt out there. And take a second look at this. Gulshanja very nearly pulled off something remarkable. Hit him straight in the wrist. How big a moment is this?
This time Jones just taps it back. Going back to the wicket, the other remarkable thing about that Mukamala dismissal is the previous ball that he hit for 6. Hit it to the deepest part of the ground. That was an 85-yard hit. And then the next ball, he's going for the straight boundary, which is only 69 yards from what you said on the pitch report, and yet he couldn't clear it.
Yeah, just a little bit quicker. That was the difference. Didn't get the time to get underneath the ball. The length also a touch fuller. Mukamala did well enough, but really well done by Nepal.
Jones just swats this out to the short boundary. Had it deep mid-wicket for 1. And that'll wrap up an 8-run over. It's 104 for 2 after 13.
सही खोजौं शुद्ध रोजौं मुटु चाहिन्छ मुटु मेरो मोबाइलमा चल्छ सेवा छजना आए
Well, it's a festival feel, doesn't it, on a Saturday night under lights. Not the Friday night lights of Texas high school or college football. No, it's all about cricket here tonight in Grand Prairie. 7 overs remain. The game hangs in the balance. As Aaron Jones, who has this little habit, doesn't he, of starting slowly, whether it be in American colours or like we saw on the CPL final recently. He might just put a little bit of pressure on Andrew's house. Andrew Leonard here with Peter Della Penna to guide you through the last 7 overs. Peter, is this going to the final over no matter what from here?
Well, the immediate drama is, will we see a replication of what these two did against Canada, like Ahmad Patel was referencing just before he stepped off the mic, or are we going to see a replication of 2 nights ago when these two teamed up to have Jones run out?
Thick drain the corner, that'll be 4. Not the right line from Sampal Kami. And the easiest of strokes for Jones to get his innings properly underway.
in spite of what he did against Canada when he dismantled the spinners, Jones is somebody who I feel prefer pace on the ball. He likes the ball coming onto the bat with pace, and you see evidence of it right there. Is that one full-length delivery, really a half volley, just on leg stump, and he shuffles across, just guides it between the keeper and flying leg to the rope.
Worked into the leg side again. That's the larger boundary out there. Dakal will keep it to a single. Yeah, House and Mukamala were impressive, weren't they? 47 from Mukamala, and House has looked very untroubled in his innings of 43 thus far. After this, Milind Kumar, Shai and Jahangir to come, and then Harmeet Singh kind of into the all-rounders. There is plenty of batting, but they'd like House to be there as late as they can in this chase, USA.
Well, he's been phenomenal since making his debut in April. He's got 5 50s.
Interesting to see Harmeet Singh padded up, Peter, as well, isn't it? Just maybe an indication that Stuart Law wants that flexibility of possibly having the left-hand option earlier than number 7.
Well, not just that, but he's also somebody who can score quickly, whereas Milind Kumar are very similar to Aaron Jones in that they're both players who have a reputation for being slow starters. So if it gets to the 15th, 16th over, by the time one of these two gets dismissed, you'd like Harmeet Singh to come in from the USA perspective, not only because he's a much quicker scorer, but also the left-hand, right-hand aspect.
Round the wicket now, and this goes into the pad. It surely is going to have pitched outside leg, but the umpire says no. The finger goes up, and Aaron Jones cannot believe it. It's close to impossible to get one from around the wicket unless it straightens. Unless the umpire's saying it's pitched on leg, and it's going to go on and hit off. Big moment in the match here. Jones adjudged LBW.
Well, there was plenty of noise on social media the other night. We'll try and get the wicket delivery coming up. But there was plenty of noise on social media about the umpiring decisions that went almost entirely one way in USA's favor Thursday night. That doesn't appear to be the case here. Aaron Jones out for 7. It's 110 for 3.
1, 2, 5, go!
Introducing new Honda Dio 125. सही खोजौं, शुद्ध रोजौं, मुटु चाहिन्छ मुटु.
Clip that one and put it on social media after all the complaints they had on Thursday night, because that one is one. It'll be a long time before they get an LBW decision that generous in their favor again. I'll tell you that much, Lenny.
Milind Kumar to the crease. He's someone who is known as starting a bit slowly. And the outside edge is beaten. All of a sudden, the Nepal fans who are outnumbering the USA ones by a margin in Grand Prairie are living and breathing every ball. 14 overs bowled. It's 110 for 3.
Why choose between your favorites when you can have both? Introducing Pizza Hut's all-new Momo Mia.
Mamma mia.
Best of both worlds on one plate. Momo Mia Pizza. Test the epic. Starting at $7.29. Pizza Hut. There's something for everyone.
It's Canada at this venue, the hero in the CPL final less than a couple of weeks ago. And St. Lucia lifted the title. He's been adjudged LBW from a decision that, as you rightly said, Peter Della Penna, there was a lot of Nepal fans not too pleased 48 hours ago, but they definitely, well, there's no doubt about it, they've got one going in their favour here with the big wicket of Jones. Rijan Dakal's going to bowl his 4th. the 15th over of the match. That will be his final one, and it's set up perfectly, isn't it? 10 runs per over required.
That was not the birthday gift that Aaron Jones was expecting from a DT Godger. I'll tell you that much. Just watch this. Sumble Kami is blowing out the candles on Aaron Jones' innings. And he's saying, wait, this is my birthday. What are you doing?
Not quite the 30th birthday present that Aaron Jones would have wanted. Interesting call this, isn't it, from Rohit Powdell to go with Dakal here. It's probably an indication that we're not going to see Kushal Bertel or Rohit Powdell himself bowl tonight. And Dipender Singh Airi's only bowled the one. So when is he going to be used? Is Airi going to bowl over 16, 18 and 20? Is he the death bowling option?
I'm surprised to see Rijan Dakal in here. And yeah, are they holding Airi back for 16, 18, 20? If they're going to bowl him out, that's going to be what he has to do. As you can see, a deep backward square, deep mid wicket, long on, long off, and a cover sweep of the 5 boundary riders for Nepal at the moment.
They're going to run a single here, and it's just as well it's not Dipender Singh Airi at cover where he so often is. It's Karen KC. Yeah, a lot of protection in the deep on the leg side, isn't there? He might get away with bringing Rijan Dakal back because of the fact that there's a new man at the crease, but I agree with you. Is it the right call?
Well, time will tell. Everything seems to be going Nepal's way this week, though, Lenny, including that last WWE decision. I'm laughing. Aaron Jones definitely isn't laughing in the USA dugout. It was so absurd.
What Nepal will try to do here is bowl as few deliveries as possible in the 5 overs that follow this one to Andrews House. If they can starve him of strike, bowl to Kumar or the subsequent batters that might follow him should he get out. That may well give Nepal a window to a 2-0 series lead.
Again, the other thing to analyze here, did they make the right decision sending in Milan Kumar? I feel like I said if it happened after the 15th over, I would have advocated for Harmeet Singh to come in. It happened in the 14th. So you can maybe understand why they've gone for Milan. And this is another reason why, because he's a very quick runner between the wickets, very sharp running to turn that into 2, and a sharp relay has zinged Asif Sheikh in an area of the gloves that doesn't have much padding.
It's a good identification for the second from USA of who the fielder was. Nepal have some exceptional fielders. The likes of Bertel, Dipender Singh Airi, Rohit Powdell are all so quick. Anil Saz, a keeper by trade, he's just not quite of that same standard. Now, direct hit might have been close or very nearly out, but I think it was a pretty well judged 2. There's no way they would have got 2 there to Airi or to Powdell.
And they've got the faster fielders on the deeper side of the ground, the east side, which is the 82-yard boundary, because those are the areas of the ground where they want to try and cut off the second. They've got, as you said, Lenny, a slower fielder on that short side of the ground because, from the Nepal perspective, I think they thought a 2 was far more difficult to take, far less likely, and yet that's what made it so impressive from Milan Kumar. 2s are very difficult to get on that short side of the ground, the west side of the ground, where you've got a 64-yard boundary, and yet he took off and made it by a yard to spare.
Well, Peter, I just took my little stint off there for the 5 or 6 overs to have a wander in and amongst the crowd, and it is fair to say the Nepal fans are enjoying their Saturday night. We are also seeing a big moment here because it's going to be a no ball, and we believe that this is for a fielding decision. There's boos from the crowd. Possibly one of the fielders who was on the edge of the 30-yard circle was adjudged to have been out of the 30-yard circle. So what was a good result for Nepal with a dot ball has now turned into a no ball and a free hit to follow. Another moment of controversy.
I think it was Gulshan Jha at backward point.
Well, it's hit to KC. He's not going to go for the catch because it was a free hit. So it's only cost one additional run, but there will be another ball to follow. How could either of the two umpires have seen that he was out of the circle from their position?
Well, that's what Gulshan Jha wants to know, because he was waving his arms like, how could you call a fielding restriction no ball? He's claiming he was inside the ring. Samir Bandekar and Aditya Gajjar clearly felt otherwise, and maybe that's a slight, ever so slight evening of decisions on the night, because the Aaron Jones LBW decision.
Now this is slashed away into the offside, not going to carry, and they'll just take the single. So final over of Dakal isn't necessarily the worst for Nepal, but USA still have this target in their sights. 15 have been bowled, it's 118 for 3.
प्राकृतिक लाभ भएको विश्वासिलो गुणस्तरीय अनि राम्रो नो कम्प्रोमाइज विथ भारत साउजी
विजयजी बडो स्मार्ट हुनुहुँदो रहेछ क्वालिटी हेर्नु हुँदो रहेछ मूल्य होइन
मुटु चाहिन्छ मुटु
The amount of seam that Rohit Paudel is favouring, he does have plenty of part-time spin options, the likes of Kushal Bertel and himself, even though there is no Kushal Malla in the team. He seems to think as though the pace on the ball is the way to go. And Sampal Kami is going to continue. So that means that Dipender Singh Airi now can't bowl his allocation. Strange choice, or do you feel it's the right one given the conditions?
Well, if you're Sampal Kami and you're Rohit Paudel, you're going to say, hey, if you got that LBW decision against Jones bowling around the wicket, might as well keep him on and keep on bowling around the wicket. You never know. Might get another.
Yeah, certainly. We always try to be fair and call things as we see them here. And we also try to understand the umpires only get one look, but that decision in LBW bemused us. As a misfield from Arif Sheikh is going to cost 1 run, not going to cost 3. They would have got the single anyway, but it just burst through his hands.
That's a fielding moment from the Nepal of at least a decade ago. A while back, they were not the sharpest fielding side in associate cricket. Their fielding standards have risen dramatically in recent years, and that's a callback to the not so good days of Nepal cricket fielding wise.
No ball. And this time it may be for a front foot overstep. I don't think it was a back foot no ball, but the call was immediate from Aditya Gajjar. It's the second no ball in 2 overs, and the free hit will follow.
And crucially for USA, it's going to be Andres House who faces the free hit. And he's on 48, looking to bring up what would be a 6th half-century T20Is for USA. And he looks odds on to get there on this delivery.
Just be a single hit down to long on. We don't know was it a front foot or a back foot no ball, but the call was immediate from Aditya Gajjar.
Well, USA in the last 2 overs, they've had 2 free hits. They've only been able to get 2 singles off of them. So that is a victory for Nepal in the context of this stage of the match. Great damage limitation by the bowlers.
Slapped down the ground. Anil Shah is going to have work to do. And when he does enough, he'll concede a second. Just wonder, is there a little bit of dew out there, Peter? A couple of slips and fumbles, and we see the towel hanging out of the back of Sampal Kami's trousers. 2 nights ago, there was close to no dew. Is it coming in tonight?
Well, the indications are there. As Kami again making an adjustment, taking off some sort of extra bandage or strapping that he had on that right leg.
You just got a second look at that no ball on my screen here, Peter. It certainly wasn't a back foot no ball. It must have been a front foot indiscretion, as this is pulled away and pulled for 4. Pace on the ball is going the distance. Cannot understand the lack of spin for Nepal, but it's a fine stroke from Milan Kumar. The first boundary of the over.
Well, the only thing I can argue for this strategy is that Milan Kumar is an exceptional player of spin. He's an outstanding judge of length against spin. And maybe they felt pace was the better way to go with him at the crease, but he's proven that wrong with shots like that. Too short, latches onto it and gives it a tennis racket backhand swat over wide long on.
Definitely has USA back in charge of this chase. A little inside edge may bring about a second. You've spoken about how quick Kumar is, and he'll take on the fielder and get home comfortably. That over belongs to America, and with 16 bowled, it's 132 for 3.
भाग्यले जहिले साथ देला या नदेला तर ई-सेवा लाइफ केयरले दिनेछ. Starting from just ₹760 a year. Get coverage up to 5.3 lakhs. Download the e-sewa app and secure your future today.
If you're a fan of having a little action, if you're a fan of Stake, and this Stake Stars and Summit series, if you were to look at Stake right now, the Duckworth-Lewis is an indication of where the odds are at any stage of the game, and USA are favorites right now ahead of Duckworth-Lewis. And unless something goes catastrophically wrong with the amount of firepower they have both at the crease and in reserve, with Jahangir and Harmeet Singh yet to come, it looks like USA is on course to level the series and set up a decider tomorrow night.
Yeah, which would be a perfect end to this inaugural series. But the lack of spin from a country and a nation that is known in its short cricketing history, only been playing international cricket for about 30 years. They are known as prodigious spinners of the ball. Tonight, they've barely bowled any. Remarkably, just 3 overs of spin. It'll be Karen KC to bowl the 17th. And Andries House will get to another T20I 50. And it's come off 35 deliveries. It was off the Q end of the bat. What a start he has had to international cricket. Signed by the Bakara Avengers now too in the Nepal Premier League. It's a 6th T20I 50 in just his 22nd match. Peter, he's almost already the leading run scorer in this format for USA, and it's going to be a matter of time now before he overtakes Stephen Taylor.
Extraordinary start to his career. Began in April, 3 50s against Canada, 1 against South Africa in the World Cup, and then 1 in Namibia just the start of the month.
Hit towards the man at cover and taken. It's another twist. With Nepal, there's always a twist. And the cardiac kids have the pulses racing back in Kathmandu again. And it's Karen KC who sends Milan Kumar back. Excellent cover, diving forward from Rijan Dakal.
Small margins can make a big difference. Wasn't sure if this was going to carry. Sometimes fielders stay on their heels for this, but Rijan Dakal lunging forward from the edge of the ring, had no hesitation coming forward for that delivery. It was flat, it was low, but he made sure it carried. Milan Kumar goes for 15. USA 133 for 4 in the 17th.
Why choose between your favorites when you can have both? Introducing Pizza Hut's all-new Momo Mia.
Mamma mia.
Best of both worlds on one plate. Momo Mia Pizza. Test the epic. Starting at $7.29. Pizza Hut. There's something for
His
everyone.
favour with Andries House still at the crease. He's got 50 off 35, but they've got a new man to bowl to. That's Shaihan Jahangir. Karen KC, who's had a really good tour of North America. Nepal were in Canada before this, playing ODIs and T20s, and alongside Gulshan Jah, KC, who's the pick of the bowlers, he's done it again. Can Jahangir get going early, or can he at least get House on strike? He'll do the latter. How much pressure will Andries House feel right now, Peter?
Not a lot, because he's somebody who's got a very calm demeanor. When he made those 50s against Canada, when he made that 50 in the World Cup against South Africa, he asked him, how are you able to do it so easily? And he just shrugs his shoulders and he says, it's cricket, mate. Come on. It's not that hard. He just has a very relaxed, very matter-of-fact approach. He doesn't get overwhelmed. This is his kind of situation.
37 to win off 21. It's a slower ball. Good skills from KC taking the pace off. Yeah, there's some in South Africa that say that if it wasn't for Quinton de Kock, he may well have actually played for South Africa. He was that highly thought of back in the land of his birth, but having taken a chance at a change in life, like so many of the players who've come across to America, to their new home, he's really embraced things here. He's been outstanding, simply sensational, in fact, in domestic cricket across both minor league, now major league. And he's a real burgeoning star. Heaved into the leg side behind square, great innovation. There's no one at square leg, either in the circle or in the deep, and Jahangir exploits that ruthlessly.
Well, he was clearly aiming for the leg side because you've got a very wide, deep mid-wicket and a long on, but there's an awful lot of real estate on the boundary on that side of the ground. I don't think he meant to get it this fine. Got more of the inside half of the bat than out of the middle, but it wound up working out in Shai Jahangir's favor.
Remarkably, Peter, he's bowling to a 6-3 field here. I don't think I've ever seen this before, right towards the death. There's only 3 fielders on the leg side. There's 2 men in the circle on the offside. It's sort of a short third. He's going to try and do the same again here. Instead he goes over the offside. Yeah, there's a long off out there, but it's over his head. What a shot that is! Put down in the crowd. An exceptional strike from Cheyenne Jahangir has swung the game heavily in USA's favour, and the Stars and Stripes are flying high.
The USA chants are being countered in the crowd. The Nepal fans going silent. The model no longer drumming in the crowd. Cheyenne Jahangir, that's 6 to end the over. 145 for 4 after 17.
अग्नि चटका बताउँछ बाथरुमबाट वाउ यु स्मेल नाइस गोदरेज एयर पावर पकेट यसको पावर जेट टेक्नोलोजीले राख्छ बाथरुम बास्नदार पुरै 30 दिनसम्म रुमले बोल्न सक्ने भए गोदरेज एयरले माग्थे।
आम आदमी में श्रद्धा असंभव होती है, श्रद्धा हो ही नहीं सकती। सब जो अपने आप को श्रद्धालु बोल रहे हैं उनमें किसी में लाखों में कोई एक होता होगा जिसमें श्रद्धा वास्तव में होती होगी। ये तो हम श्रद्धा शब्द का भी अपमान कर देते हैं। बादल भी उसी की छवि है, नदी भी उसी की छवि है, फूल पत्ते और सब अच्छी अच्छी बातें नहीं, कीचड़ और दलदल।
Sends it on the ground. Fans know exactly how critical this over is. That's hit through the offside. Really good stroke. Arif Sheikh fields excellently. Cuts off the boundary, but House gets back for the second, even though it's to the shorter side. Every run counts here. It's now 23 to win off 16.
On all sides on the street boundary at long off. They've got Kushal Bertel, Tubi Kachuria long on, still stationed there. Arif Sheikh is at a very wide cover sweeper, almost extra cover sweeper. And they've got a deep mid-wicket and a deep backward square leg on that very deep 82-yard boundary on the east side of the ground.
Here's his own due is clearly a factor tonight. The players having to drive the ball regularly. This time it'll just be a single again. It's out to that extra cover sweeper, which Arif Sheikh does the work. House is devastating against spin. I think that's one of the reasons we haven't seen as much of Sagar Dakal as we did 2 days ago. The field is spread, lots of protection the deep on the leg side, long on, deep mid-wicket, deep backward square, only fine leg, short fine leg in the circle on the leg side. 3 men on the offside are all square the wicket. Down the ground, and that's going to be all the way. In USA, they can see the finishing line now. The gamble to bowl Dakal as late as the 18th is not paid off, and House's dominance against spin is on show yet again.
USA, the chain goes up again, the stars and stripes are fluttering, and the ball is doing more than fluttering off the bat. Andres House is sliding into the sight screen. He's been imperious. That's his 4th, 6th, first one since the 8th over, and what a time for it to arrive for USA.
Tries to repeat the dose, but this time doesn't get it. Kushal Bertel will do the fielding. Do you feel this has been a second innings that it's always easy with hindsight, has maybe been mismanaged a touch by Nepal with their bowling options?
Well, you could say so, based on the success they had Thursday night.
Picked up into the leg side. Now he's got a really good piece of this, but Dipender Singh Irie is out there, and he's not going to drop that. It's such a large boundary, it's incredibly difficult to clear, and Jahangir, he holds out to give us maybe another late twist as Sagar Dakal has his first wicket today.
Oh, the sun and red moon, and now they're flying. The model is thumping in the crowd. But as you said, Lenny, you're going to have to clear 82 yards on that side of the ground tonight. We've seen some guys able to do it. Shine Jahangir not able to on that occasion. Irie, the most dependable of Nepalese fielders, flashes onto it. Jahangir out for 14. And USA and the 18th at 156 for 5. They need 15 off the last 2 out balls.
Two overs remain. Karen KC is going to bowl his 4th and final. It's 15 to win off 12. The new man's at the non-striker's end. As Andres House continues along his merry way, can he get back on strike? No, he can't, because the fielding is clean, and it will bring the new man onto strike. Is this a little window for Nepal to maybe pull off a victory from nowhere here? USA, they only need 14 to win off 11.
Harmeet Singh, he's had some very successful cameos for USA with the bat. his brief T20I career. This is his 21st innings, average of 22.61. Check that, average of 18.58 in 16 innings now. He's looking at his bowling stats above his batting stats. He's got a strike rate of 145 though. He can score quickly. All he needs really is singles to get Gauss back on strike though.
Slower ball. He might get more than that. He should get 2 because it's the longer boundary on the leg side. And even though it's Depender Singh Irie, it was weighted perfectly. That's good knowledge and use of the conditions that I mentioned to the ground, coupled to get Harmeet Singh off the mark.
Well, again, he's a big 6 hitter. As I said, you don't need 6s here. 12 from 10 with all that expansive real estate on the leg side with the left-hander on the east side of the ground. He just needs to repeat that tap and run shot 4 more times in this over, and they'll be the equation having more balls than runs required.
It's a Yorker. It's it down towards long off, and it's taken. Rowan Pale sends the Nepal fans into ecstasy, and it's another leg twist. The attempted Yorker turned into a low full toss, and Harmeet Singh could have hit it anywhere, and all he's done is hit it down the throat of Nepal's captain.
Lenny, I can't believe what I've just seen. We were just talking about all he needs to do is tap 1s and 2s. He's going for glory here. When you get a low full toss, it can be very difficult to get underneath it, and that's what we've just seen. And it's almost deja vu of the tied match in Pearland with Aaron Jones. All he needed to do was tap a single. He went for glory, caught on the boundary. Harmeet has almost repeated that in the exact fashion. He's out for 2. USA 159 for 6 with 9 balls left.
We're being treated to a real spectacle on a Saturday night. The local time here in Texas is already past 10:30. Back in Nepal, well, it's barely past 9:15 a.m. But the fans here in Texas, they're mainly chanting Nepal, Nepal. They're on their feet. 9 deliveries remain, 12 to win. Jesse Singh is the new man to the crease, and he's on strike. Given as a wide, and KC can't believe it because he's saying that Jesse Singh has come across his crease and the wide guideline should go with it.
Well, he's got a point. It's a call that could have gone either way. Jesse Singh, as he said, was walking across, premeditated well before Karen KC delivered that ball, and the wide guidelines is supposed to shift with the striker. That one goes in USA's favor though.
The big call makes it 11 off 9 instead of 12 off 8. Goes across again, gets something on it. There is a man out there. I think they're just going to be satisfied with a single because it'll get House on strike. Jan does really well out at deep backward point. Ball 22, Peter. The guideline should go if the batter goes with it. And did Jesse Singh go enough to mean that shouldn't have been given as a wide?
Well, Samir Bandikar didn't think so. It gets very tricky, very ambiguous, because when the batter moves, that blue painted line doesn't move with him. You don't have that same visual guideline in a set position, and it just becomes a judgment call.
How good's that fan in the cable, the jumper? Sliced away, 2 men out there. They'll converge upon it. Will they be able to stop the second? They might. There's chaos out there. Jesse Singh turns down the second. He says to Andrew's House, I can't hear you. And Depender Singh Irie involved again. Nearly creates a run-out chance. It's only 1 run to the total.
Well, you don't need to hear him. You have to have the knowledge of how deep that throw is. I don't care how good a fielder Depender Singh Irie is. That's an 82-yard throw. The second is on. The amount of distance he had to cover laterally, moving from left to right, that's an automatic 2. You take one for the throw 7 days a week, and I'm not sure what is going on in Jesse Singh's head that he didn't turn and run and respond to Andre's house. There's no need to wait for a yes or no or 2-2-2. You just go in that situation.
Yeah, this has to be a free hit. They need House on strike in the final ball. 2-4-6 USA wants. And they may well get it. Mr. Pendra Singh Iree will hair around, but he won't be able to stop the second. He will cut off the 4. It's a good result for USA. They get 2. House is on strike. It's all going down to the 20th and final over. It's 164 for 6.
One hour, one champion. 5 days a week. NPM matlab. UFC fight o'clock. Only on Sony Sports Network.
Well, based on how they've operated tonight, I can tell they're going to go with pace. Sampokami is going to bowl this final over. That's who I thought they would get the ball to. I'm not necessarily saying I agree with it, but based on the strategy they've employed, I'm not surprised. It's hard to look away from Nepal Singh Iree with how he's performed with the ball over the course of these 2 matches, but Rohit Powell's got a very clear plan in mind. He's stubbornly sticking to it. He's gone with pace. He's continuing to go with pace here. Sampokami is going to come around the wicket, try and angle it across to negate any chance Jesse Singh has to free the arms.
And it all comes down to these final 6 balls. USA, they need just 7 to win. And House is on strike, and that could be the best possible result for Nepal. It's a single. It means the new man to the crease, Jesse Singh, who is capable with the bat, no doubt. He's going to have the pressure of this series on his shoulders. He'll be on strike. It's 6 to win off 5.
Well, Jesse is the longest tenured player in this USA squad. Made his debut in 2015. He's going to have to call upon all of that experience to finish off his chase alongside Andre's house.
Five balls left. Good batting from Jesse Singh. I think they'll just take the single. They're going to take on the second. Could be a run-out chance if it was picked up cleanly. And it's not. It's fumbled by Arif Sheikh. Not for the first time today either. Big moment in the match. Should they have taken the second?
Yes! Which is what they should have done the previous over, because again, it's 82 yards out there. That side of the ground, the east side of the ground, it's such a long way to run, it's such a long way to throw. You've got to put the pressure on the field. That's what they should have done in the previous over. They learned from their conservative mistake in the 19th. They take on the second because, again, USA's got 4 wickets in hand. If they get run out there, so be it. Jesse Singh took the gamble, put the pressure on Arif Sheikh, who, as you said, has not been at his best in the field tonight, and it pays off.
Changing the field. The man who was at cover, Gulshan Jazz, come in to kind of try and plug that gap. He's come into a square leg, almost saving the single. USA are just a boundary away. Any boundary will do. Even an edge. Big gap between the keeper and that short third. 4 to win off 4. That's where the ball goes. It will be a single. Dakal wisely chooses not to throw it. It means that House could put the finishing touches on this match now. 3 to win off 3. Surely Nepal need a wicket, and they needed this ball.
Well, Andre's house has had a lot of runs in his USA career so far, especially in T20 cricket, but he hasn't really had a signature moment, and this could be it. He's taken them all the way up to the finish line. Can he get them across the finish line is the question, and he's telling Jesse Singh, leave it to me, I'll get us across the line from here. Can he do it though?
3 to win off 3. Kami to House.
Hit in the air towards long on. Kushal Bertel is out there. He takes the catch. Nepal have life. Can they pull the rabbit from the hat? House, the set man is gone. He can't believe what he's done. And it's all going to go down to the last two balls now.
Well, he tried to finish it off in one ball. The USA are going to need those last two deliveries if they're going to get across the line here. Cows, that signature moment, is going to have to wait for another day. As he tried to clear that very deep boundary on the leg side. It's an 80-plus yard hit to that side of the ground, but Kushal Bertel with his second catch in that position tonight. House stunned. USA still need 3 to win off the last 2 balls.
House gone for 62, 168 for 7. Peter, you are not going to believe who's coming in at number 9. I'm not sure who writes these scripts for the associate game, the game that we love. It's that man, it's the pantomime villain, it's Ali Khan.
Well, Ali Khan is somebody who's got a reputation as the type of tail ender who swings wildly. I'm not sure I agree with this. Saurav Netravalkar is somebody who has a track record of getting a bat on ball much more consistently than Ali Khan. And Nash Kenjigay, the other option in reserve, both of those guys are players who you can rely on them to get bat on ball. All you need is one here, and then another single to potentially send this to a super over, Lenny. You don't need boundaries. Ali Khan, if you needed 6 to win at this situation, I would send in Ali Khan. I don't necessarily agree with this. I would have sent in Kenjigay or Netravalkar just to guarantee you're going to get bat on ball.
Crowder reaching fever pitch. It's 3 to win off 2. It's an inside edge. It's going to be at least 1. Will they think of a second? No, they won't. KC does the fielding. Ali Khan's maybe done his job. He's handed it over to Jesse Singh. And this Stake Stars and Summits trophy, the fate of it all comes down to the final delivery of this second T20I. 2 to win for USA. Any wicket or a dot for Nepal. 1 sends us to a super over.
Well, Ali Khan has been in this situation before. If you remember to Antigua in November 2021, it was him and Rossi Turan who were together at the crease for the final ball when Canada had a brain fade, and the pair of them ran a couple byes to send the match into a super over. Ali Khan is going to need to recall on that experience to make sure he runs here to guarantee anything, a single, a bye, whatever it takes to just get that 1 run at the minimum to stretch this into a super over. 1 to tie for USA, 2 to win with Jesse Singh on strike. They've been in these situations before. Ali Khan has very directly been in this situation before 3 years ago. And Jesse Singh is going to be the man who's got to get USA at least to the line, if not over the line.
There's fielders running everywhere. There was a huge conflab between the captain and some of the senior players. Sampal Kami, he was the one who's been given the faith of the captain to bowl this final over. It all comes down to the final ball. He's done a wonderful job to now. It's 2 to win. 1 sends us to the super over. A dot or a wicket wins it for Nepal. Here we go. It's a short ball. It's pulled into the deep. They'll get the 1. It's Dipender Singh Airi. The throw comes in. It's on the bounce. It's a run out. And we're going to the super over. All the way. We can't separate them in normal time. And the fans, they're loving every second. And fittingly, it's Dipender Singh Airi's throw that runs it out for the second. Not quite Lords in 2019, but we have a super over under the Saturday night footlights in Grand Prairie.
Well, you want to put your best fielder in that position. That was most likely where it was going to go. With that ball, that Sampal Kami bowled, he bowled it short on purpose. He was playing for a drag into the leg side. He got what he wanted. He got it straight to the fielder he wanted it to go to. And Ali Khan did his job. He bolted like there was no tomorrow from the non-strikers, and he got back comfortably for the second, but Jesse Singh was just struggling to get the momentum going after playing the shot, and he was never going to get back for that second run, and it means we've got bonus cricket lighting.
Well, incredible scenes here in Grand Prairie, and I have to say, it's no more than everyone deserves. The organisers, well, there's, as always, drama because they're working out exactly what has to happen. It was a short ball, didn't get a great piece of it, but look at the coolness and the calmness under pressure here of Dipender Singh Airi. It wasn't his usual flat throw. He said, I know I've got time to just lob it into Asif Sheikh, and Nepal, they'll feel as though they've kind of won that super over. They're not going to go anywhere. What a contest, and what a gripping piece, again, of the game that we love, associate cricket at its very best.
Well, I said Ali Khan had been in that situation before. I neglected to say Dipender Singh Airi had been in that situation before, only because in that tied match in Pearland 2 years ago, it was Dipender Singh Airi who teamed up with Karen KC for the run out off the final ball and ensured that match ended in a tie. The alertness from Airi in that situation, Karen KC fielded the ball on the leg side. Airi sprinted in from mid-off to go over the stumps in the bowler's end to collect the relay from Karen KC on that occasion. This time, as you said, didn't try and fire it in at the base of the stumps. He knew he had all the time in the world to just essentially lob in a one-bounce relay. You could see how gentle that throw was from him, despite how deep it was. And it resulted in the run-out. That's going to send this match into a super over.
We go into overtime. Get a quick look at the cards. 47 for Saiteja Mukamala and 62 the standout innings for Andres House. But it wasn't enough. He got out in the final over. For the bowling figures, the hero, well, really, Karen KC, again, 3 wickets for him. But a great word for Sampal Kambi with his 2-wicket haul. The perplexing thing for all of us, just the 1 over of Dipender Singh Airi. That is the news, that it is officially a tie. We're off to a super over. What I'm going to do now is explain the rules of a super over to you at home. If you've never watched one before, both sides now must select 3 batters and 1 bowler to play a single additional over each that is going to determine the winner of this match. There are no ties, and remember, we have the potential for multiple super overs in case there is a tie. So USA have elected to go, it looks like, with Andres House and Shaihan Jahangir. The way it works, the team that is fielding, they stay out there. So USA will bat again, and then there will be a number 3. The interval between the super, only 5 minutes. They will bat these 6 balls, and then the 2 sides will switch over, and then Nepal will come out with their 3 batters. If there are 2 wickets, the super over will be ended short of the 6 balls. Whatever they get, Nepal will have to try and get past. And interestingly, having bowled the final over, the 20th and final, Nepal are going to stick with their man, Sampal Kambi, again. And they can also choose which end it is bowled from. So obviously Nepal, with the 2 right-handers at the crease walking out, they're going to go with this same end of the ground.
I disagree with sending Shaihan Jahangir in. If you remember back to the super over that USA had against Pakistan, they had Harmeet Singh in there with Aaron Jones, and a big reason why was because they wanted a left-right combo. If they put in Harmeet Singh with Andres House here, you have a left-hand, right-hand combo, and that helps negate the short side, long side boundary discrepancy. Nepal is facing 2 right-handers here, so they've set the field to bowl to that long side boundary where they've got extra protection. It's a lot tougher to score boundaries on that side. If you have a left-hander in there, and Harmeet Singh, that neutralizes that in a big way for Nepal. I don't agree with this strategy going into the Super Bowl for USA. And I wonder, is Harmeet Singh going to be the 3rd guy should one of these 2 get out?
Well, here we go. Sampal Kambi will bowl to Shaihan Jahangir. Get those graphics corrected. We've got House on strike in them, but it's a single to start with, as Anil said, as the fielding. Remarkably, Peter, this isn't the first tie between these 2 sides, And it's not even the first time between these two sides in Texas. It was 2 years ago, you and I were both there in June in Pearland at the Lusa Stadium. It was 2-7-4, played 2-7-4. Tonight, that was in an ODI. That ended up as a tie. There was no super over. We're going to have a victor either way, even if it's going to take multiple super overs.
Well, this is your first super over. First time match between these two sides.
Hit away into the leg side. That's a good result for Nepal. Only a single to Pender Singh Ari, the fielder.
I seem to remember you were a little bit under the weather on that tie match. It was me and Ahmed Patel who were on the call that day, Lenny.
They were COVID times, Peter. The less said about them, the better.
I'm glad you're 100% for this occasion, Lenny. The fans who are here tonight, they're catching cricket fever in a big way, Lenny. I wonder if all those people leaving the Kevin Hart show, they might want an encore in Great Prairie Stadium.
They're rubbing every second. 2 off, 2 balls.
People leaving the Kevin Hart show, they might want an encore in Great Prairie Stadium.
They're rubbing every second. 2 off, 2 balls. Our graphics just a tiny bit incorrect.
Balls him straight through, and listen to that roar. Sampal Kami is holding his nerve at the death, and Nepal
ल ए जी
The Super O have only 2 to defend.
To recall the super over that USA bowled against Pakistan, Sarvan Chabalkar bowled it because he had plenty of runs to defend. In this situation, I feel like you got to go with Ali Khan. You need somebody who could blast.
Concerns and worries over their death bowling. It feels like Nepal are on the precipice of doing something incredibly special here, beating a fine American side on their home soil in this inaugural Stake Stars and Summits Trophy. The Super Over ends with those 2 wickets. USA have only 2 to defend.
Well, to recall the Super Over that USA bowled against Pakistan, Sarvan Chabalkar bowled it because he had plenty of runs to defend. In this situation, I feel like you got to go with Ali Khan. You need somebody who could blast out the stumps. Sarvan Chabalkar is not the guy I would pick in this situation. He was the right guy for the situation against Pakistan. USA only has 2 runs to defend here, thanks to Sampal Kami taking 2 wickets in 4 balls in an abbreviated super over. We didn't even get through the 6 balls, Lenny. And now USA with a Himalayan task, trying to defend 2 runs here, Lenny.
They're looking more than a touch forlorn, aren't they? Strolling out to the middle, they know it's all but a lost cause. Remarkable scenes here in the Stake Stars and Summits Trophy. bring you those 2 wickets from the super over. Here is the second one of them. Is it rather fitting, Peter, that Dipender Singh Arya was on the final ball in regulation time who affected the run out, and then he also took the catch. Here's the 2 wickets back to back. That was the first one, a little feather of an outside edge, and then fittingly Dipender Singh Arya in the deep doing what he does yet again.
Well, he's making a strong play for player of the series here, Lenny. Player of the match yesterday, and he's been a magnet for the ball near the tail end of this match. Ran in for the run out to end regulation, and now cements the second wicket of the super over, but they catch it deep mid wicket again, and Sompal Kami, you can't wipe the smile off his face.
Well, Peter, if you know Sompal Kami and Karen KC, they are thick as thieves. They are the best of pals, they do everything together, and they have been the most remarkable servants for their nation. They very rarely don't have a smile on their face, and at times they come in for a lot of criticism from the Nepal fans because they have had their problems at the death. But against a much vaunted USA side, we heard Rohit Powell talk at the toss about this is an American team that have beaten Pakistan, that have beaten Bangladesh. They're acutely aware of how good USA are, but here on American soil, albeit with very much a Nepali feel, with the exceptional numbers of Nepal fans that have turned out to support their heroes, they're right on the brink of doing something very special. Because USA, well, they look rough and ragged, don't they? They look like they're defeated before they even walk out for this second half of the Super Over.
Well, that tied match 274, played 274 in Paralympics 2 years ago, that was a losing tie in the eyes of a lot of USA fans. They really bungled the tail onto that match. There was a double century stand between Stephen Taylor and Monica Patel in that game, and then nobody really remembers it because they really goofed up at the tail end of the chase. And again here, it was essentially a losing tie. USA was in command heading into the final over. They only needed 7 runs to win off 6 balls. 99% of the time, that's a team that's going to get across the line, especially with 4 wickets in hand. And yet, they couldn't do it. You'd call that a losing tie heading into the Super Bowl for USA. They were in a far more dominant position at the tail end of that chase. And here we go, having scored only 2 runs off this first half of the Super Over. They really shot themselves in the foot in a big way, and gonna need Ali Khan to spear the ball into the feet of the Nepal batters. But they're not going with him. They're gonna go with Sarvin Tewolkar again. I don't know if I agree with this. I feel like Sarvin Tewolkar bowled the Super Over against Pakistan because in that situation he was better suited to it. In this situation, you need somebody who's going to explode the stumps with raw pace, and I think Ali Khan is the guy to do that. USA management obviously feels differently.
What's the approach, I suppose, fascinatingly for the 2 Nepali batters that have been selected? The captain is taking the responsibility himself. He's going to also take strike, and the man in form who was so brilliant today, surely nailed on to be the player of the match, Kushal Bertel, with that wonderful innings of 92 not out that came off 54 deliveries with 7 4s and 6 6s. What's their approach going to be? Are they going to tap 3 singles? Well, Hale going to say, give me a double delivery.
These 2 guys, they're lightning between the wickets. They're quicksilver. If I were them, I would do what USA didn't do at the end of the match. USA was in a position where they just needed to tap and run. Harmeet Singh, I'm not sure what he was thinking, trying to heat a 6 with 2 overs to go.
Here we go. It's 3 to win, 6 balls to do it. It's a dot. Oh no, it's not. It's a misfield. Aaron Jones. It slipped through his fingers. On his birthday, he's had a birthday to forget. Out not once, but twice. And now a crucial misfield.
Well, I can't fault him too much. He shouldn't be in this situation. It shouldn't come down to needing to sprint in to cut off a single, defending 2 off a Super Over. There's a lot of things to criticize about USA tonight. I'm not going to pick on Aaron Jones for that one. There are other players in this lineup who had the responsibility to get USA over the line so they wouldn't be in a Super Over, and they just didn't get the job done.
Well, it was regulation, being honest, Peter. He didn't have to sprint a yard. He was standing at a silly mid-on. Just burst through his fingers. It's probably not going to end up being the difference between the sides. I'll agree with you on that much. But USA, credit to them now. They are actually going to gamble. They're bringing everyone in. They're not just going to allow Nepal to run 2 more singles. But Bertel, you would imagine, might just put a flourish to this finish with a boundary.
They've only got one fielder outside. It's 2, check that. They've got a deep third and a deep square leg. Those are the 2 fielders outside the ring. They're hoping for a brain fade from Kushal Bertel to give a boundary catch.
Everyone else inside the single. It's 2 to win. He whips it elegantly out to the leg side. Any single from here will do. And the Nepal fans are on their feet. They know they're on the brink of a historic series victory here. And they're going to do so in the most dramatic of fashions. Here we go. Just want to win 4 balls to do it. No is the call. Well, the cardiac kids, they're known for their drama, Peter. There's always a twist.
They can't get a single from here. This would be the most...
Just a reminder, there is another super over if there's 3 dots or 2 wickets.
The most unglamorous super over if Nepal can't go over the line. This might be a super over that sets back cricket a decade if they can't go over the line here, buddy.
3 balls remaining. Any run will do. USA need 2 wickets from one of their heroes of the World Cup, Sarah Netra. Just a reminder, there is another super over if there's 3 dots or 2 wickets.
Unglamorous super over if Nepal can't go over the line. This might be a super over that sets back cricket a decade if they can't go over the line here, buddy.
3 balls remaining. Any run will do. USA need 2 wickets from one of their heroes of the World Cup, Sarah Netra, or 3 miraculous dots. And Powell guides it away and gets the single. And Nepal get the victory for over 6 months for him. His innings have not... Of his victory on the most sensational of Saturday nights in Grand Prairie.
Nepal, they just don't know how to win a match by a comfortable margin, Lenny. They always take it down to the final ball, final run. In this case, the final extra over, if you will, super over. Rohit Patel and Kushal Bertel walk off with smiles on the faces. USA on the other end. They're going to be going into the locker room wondering what on earth just happened. This is almost, in some way, shades of what happened in the Netherlands, where they had winning positions and then inexplicably shot themselves in the foot on numerous occasions and just froze, couldn't get across the line.
And Andre's House in particular, Peter, he looked shell-shocked, doesn't he? And you can understand why. The match was literally in his hands. It's harsh to criticise the man who was the highest run scorer of the chase, but even just a few strokes along the ground to the bigger side would have done, and he held out.
Well, it started with Harmeet Singh's dismissal in the previous over, the 19th. Again, at that stage, USA really only needed a little over a run of ball, and he'd just taken 2 off the previous delivery with a very clever tap and run into a huge amount of green grass in the leg side. All he needed to do was do that a couple more times. Instead, for some reason, he tried to smash Karen KC back into the sight screen, didn't get enough of it, and then Andre's House, same thing. You're in a situation where you just need to run a ball in the final over, and he tries to clear the deepest boundary in the ground, 80 plus yards, when all he needs, again, tap and run into the leg side. You're with a high percentage chance of picking up 2, and you can literally jogged to victory. Instead, USA somehow managed to bundle this in a big way. Meanwhile, the Nepal fans, they're not complaining. This is the home away from home series for them. Huge amount of support in Grand Prairie for the Sun and Red Moon. As a lot of them sprinted out after the final ball, trying to beat traffic, but a significant number of fans, at least 1,000 of them, are still hanging around to soak up the aura of this victory. And the Nepal players, once again, as they did on Thursday night, taking a victory lap to say thank you to the fans for turning out in big numbers. Such a huge Nepalese community here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, and they've shown out in big numbers here tonight. There were 1,000 fans on Thursday night, well over 2,000 here tonight in Grand Prairie Stadium, and they're enjoying every moment of this as Nepal has clinched a 2-0 series victory with a match to go tomorrow night.
Yeah, big shout out to Justin Gill as well, and David White you see there, Josh Dascombe, Irvin Pereira, all of the MLC team, Sarkari, done an incredible job helping USA Cricket Club Borough and all the USA Cricket staff to pull together what's been a huge success of the series. You've probably seen bigger crowds for these matches than for any of the other T20s we've seen baked in and around Cricket World Cup League 2, maybe the only exception those games in Kathmandu. Memorable moments for the associate game. Two exceptional sides, two really good teams, both probably a little imperfect in some aspects, but with some outstanding players, and they served up an all-time classic tonight here in Texas, didn't they?
Well, USA definitely imperfect. I'm not sure where the imperfections are in this Nepal lineup. They're a lot harder to spot, because in those tough moments, they just got the will to win. This was USA's match to lose. They were in control. It was going to have to be some unforced errors that really kept Nepal alive. That's exactly what happened. The wickets that fell are poor situational cricket from USA, you have to say. It wasn't that they were poor shots at face value. It was in the scoring options that were available. They chose the lowest percentage option, and it backfired spectacularly on them.
And as Nepal complete their traditional lap of honour, it is going to leave the vast majority of the fans who attended here tonight exceptionally happy. There is the confirmation. The match officially is a tie. Nepal have won the Super Over, and they therefore take an unassailable 2-0 series lead in this inaugural Stake Stars and Summits Trophy 2024. Peter, you feel as though USA threw it away, but a special word for Sampal Kami in particular, his heroics in the 20th and then again in the Super Over.
Well, the tactics. USA just got their tactics so horribly wrong. Again, the inability to target twos in the final 2 overs, and then not bringing in Harmeet Singh for the Super Over. I did not understand that. I called it out at the time. This is not hindsight speaking. I disagreed with it very strongly in the moment, and seeing the way the 2 wickets fell, to me, underscores the point I was trying to make at the time, that they needed a left-hander at the crease with a short boundary. They didn't do it. Sampal Kami, on the other hand, very intelligent bowling the situation, not just at the end of the match, taking 2 for 34 to send the match into a Super Over, but with 2 more wickets in the Super Over itself. If it wasn't for Kushal Bertel's 92 on 54 balls, you'd make a strong case for Sampal Kami being the player of the match.
Well, the good news is that we have Aman Patel standing by with the post-match presentation. That's going to be ready in just a few moments' time. But for me, Andrew Leonard, for Peter Della Penna, for all the crew, for Rob Umair and all the team who brought you the most entertaining game of cricket you will ever enjoy. We'll get down to Aman Patel now shortly for the post-match presentation. For us, it's bye for now.
मुझे ईश्वर में विश्वास करना कठिन लगता है। मुझे ईश्वर में विश्वास करना कठिन लगता है। मैं क्यों मानूं कि कोई महान या संचालक सत्ता कहीं है या सब कुछ चला रही है। अगर मैं नास्तिक हूँ और ईश्वर में विश्वास नहीं करता तो क्या मैं आध्यात्मिक नहीं हो सकता? ठीक है, अच्छा मुद्दा है, सबके काम आएगा। इस पर मैं कुछ बोलता हूँ, फिर आप अपनी बात या जिज्ञासा सामने रखिएगा। देखिए, अध्यात्म